We start today in Puerto Rico, where almost 300 people showed up on Sunday for a monkeypox vaccine clinic put on by the health department. It comes as the number of monkeypox infections continues to rise on the island. The clinic was held at the health department in Rio Piedras. The first case of monkeypox was confirmed in Puerto Rico back on June 29th. And since then, the virus has been evolving. And according to the latest bulletin from the agency, until August 12th, there were 50 positive cases, 66 suspected cases, and 69 people under investigation, 8 cases of which are among people who have recently traveled. Well, meantime, the World Health Organization announced it will be holding an open forum to rename the monkeypox disease. That follows concerns raised by critics. Critics raised concerns that the name could be derogatory or have racist connotations. The UN Health Agency released a statement Friday which said it has also renamed 2 families or the clades of the virus using Roman numerals instead of geographic areas to avoid stigmatization. Other diseases, including Spanish influenza and Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome, have been named after the geographic areas where they were first identified. However, the World Health Organization has not publicly suggested changing any of those names. And if you're planning to take a cruise sometime soon, you may not need to have a COVID-19 vaccine. Starting next month, 4 major cruise lines are dropping their vaccination requirements for some sailings. Carnival Cruise Line and Princess Cruises will no longer require guests to apply for a vaccination exemption for most voyages that are fewer than 16 days. The Royal Caribbean and Celebrity Cruises will welcome all passengers who meet testing requirements on some sailings. The changes come after Norwegian Cruise Line announced plans to adjust its COVID rules as well as allowing all passengers to embark. And the Labor Department has released its Consumer Price Index this week, which signaled inflation may have peaked. Now that's good news for airline travelers. While fares are still much higher than they were in 2019, a decline in fuel prices could make one last summer getaway a little bit cheaper. Chris Van Cleve reports.
Falling fares down nearly 8% in July.
I feel like it went up, but now it's going back to like normal prices.
I know how high they can be, so when I find a reasonable flight, I jump on it immediately.
Some big savings on flights to San Diego, now $230 cheaper on average than the May peak. Hawaii is down $154. Even flights to Prague could cost you about $300 less.
Prices about a month ago were ridiculously high.
To find a deal, Renanda Young and her mom took a ridiculous detour, driving more than 100 miles to save nearly $400. They flew from Eugene, Oregon to Burbank, California instead of Portland to Los Angeles. It still cost her double from last year.
They were close to reasonable. At that time, they were $400 for the 2 of us for round trip, just over.
Airline ticket prices peaked in May as pent-up pandemic demand filled planes and fuel prices soared.
What's the sweet spot if you're looking for a deal?
If you're looking for a deal on airfare, now is the sweet spot.
Haley Berg tracks airfare for travel site Hopper. She says right now, round-trip domestic tickets for September and October will cost travelers on average $238, down roughly 37% from May. But she expects they will again top $300 by November and rise steadily as people book for the holidays.
Though prices have fallen from the peak earlier this summer, well over $400, they are still relatively high. Prices will probably drop a little bit between now and the middle of October. You will want to book your holiday travel by that second week of October.
Renata Young is already bargain hunting for her next getaway.
With the prices coming down on airline tickets, I'm actually anticipating us traveling some more in the next year than what I had initially planned for our travel budget.
Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Meantime, a chocolatier in New York is keeping its Puerto Rican family culture alive for generations to come. Lisa Ronzier reports.
The yellow bar for hot cocoa, Chocolate Cortez, is a household staple at breakfast for Puerto Ricans, and the same company makes Embajador, as it's known in the Dominican Republic. The Cortez company was founded in 1929 by Pedro Cortez Forteza. His great-grandson is Carlos Cortez.
Now it's 4 generations of us chocolatiers that have been, continuing the tradition. Working in the factory, when I was a little kid on the, conveyor line, putting the tops on the chocolate powder cans. It's just been part of our life always.
The cafe Choco Bar Cortez first opened almost a decade ago in San Juan, and now its second location is on Alexander Avenue.
You see more Puerto Rican flags here everywhere than you do any other flag, and yet there aren't enough Puerto Rican establishments or businesses or brands, so I saw a necessity.
This is a whole turnaround.
The main tradition that people have come to know the Cortez brand for is seeing their family members drinking the hot chocolate and then taking cheddar cheese and dipping it in.
And also with these special crackers that we call casco. I drink it every day.
The chocolate is incorporated into most of the cafe's dishes, like the garlic sauce for the skirt steak, the grilled cheese, and even the ketchup for the curly fries. Cortez wants to support other Latino entrepreneurs. On the walls and some of the packaging are illustrations of La Borinqueña, the first Afro-Latina superhero.
They can literally read the stories and adventures of La Borinqueña, talking to them about sustainable farming, about charity work.
It's kind of your job, essentially, to share your heritage, right?
It is. It's just amazing. I'm very proud.